Okay, so another factor you're going to want to take into account when you're sourcing products for your online arbitrage business is how much profit there is. Now, we've briefly touched on this in the previous lesson, but to go over it again, you need to build a minimum profit into your business. So there are some high volume sellers that will source at $1 profit or £1 profit. I've heard stories of sellers in the US especially that will literally like source at break even and use what's called cashback, and we'll talk about that in another lesson. But they use cashback to actually make the profit. I hate that model. I think that's a recipe for disaster. Look, turnovers, what do they say? Turnovers vanity, profits sanity. If you're focusing on sales and no profits, at some point you're going to come unstuck. Imagine, I don't know, you get a bunch of returns and for some reason you're unable to get like your money back for them, and you can't resell them, or I don't know, all manner of things potentially could go wrong. Now, don't get me wrong, if you follow this system, it's very rare for anything to go wrong. But for example, if you go VAT registered, so when you hit a certain turnover, you go VAT registered, well, all of a sudden you're a little bit worse off in your margins because you have to collect VAT on behalf of the taxman, and so your margins are reduced, and maybe your model was working perfectly, doing it the slim margins before, and then you go VAT registered and all of a sudden it doesn't work, and you kind of back to square one. So ultimately, the importance of building profit into this business or any business is super, super, super important. If you want to continue doing it and you want to grow your profits, grow your stock, grow your sales, you want to grow everything, you need to think about profit. So what's the bare minimum profit? Honestly, it's up to you. Some people do £1. I think that's too low, or $1, too low, in my opinion. A lot of people do £2, $2 or more. And a whole bunch of people do £3 or $3 or more. Now, there's also people that go £5 or $5 or more. But when you're going £5 or $5 minimum profit per item, it's going to vastly reduce the amount of items you're able to get for your inventory. So if you're starting out and you have a small amount of capital to purchase your products with in the first place, then yes, maybe you want to cherry pick the larger profit margined products. It makes sense, give you a bigger buffer. And then once you build up your capital, build up your sales, build up your stock and inventory, and once you're really selling, then that's when you can tweak maybe your profits. But as a rule of thumb, as a beginner, I would probably aim for products with £3 or $3 or more profit in them to start. And then as you get more experience, consider coming down maybe $2.50 to or if your model, if you like, if the way you want to do this lends itself to higher profit margins, then go for £4 or £5 or $5 minimum. So you can tell there is no hard and fast rule. There's not everybody sources at £3 profit or $3 profit. There's not that. Unfortunately, that don't exist. And the fact that some people are willing to take a little bit less profit might mean that they're a little bit more aggressive on the prices, which might mean they get faster sales or something like that. But it might mean that they're spinning the wheels and not getting it very far, and they don't realise it until year end. So build a nice buffer in there. Go for 3 or 250 or 2 minimum, okay? And you won't go too far wrong. Hopefully that makes sense. I'd love to know what you think your margin would be. But if there's somewhere to leave that comment, I'm not sure. Depending on where you're watching this, might not be anywhere to leave the comment, but I'd be interested to know what your minimum is going to be. But yeah, build a minimum profit margin into each unit, and it really, really gives you a nice buffer. Super important, especially if you're a UK seller and one day you might go VAT registered. You need to think about that right from the start and not falsely kind of create this business that's fast selling but no profit accidentally down the line. So $2, $3, $4, even $5 or pounds profit is a good place to start for units, but it's up to you. So I'll see you in the next video.